Graeme Mouton, the Financial Director of Namibian Breweries Ltd, and here we sit in the beautiful premises of Namibian Breweries. Thanks for sitting down with us.
Oh, thank you. This is the heartbeat of the breweries.
Where all the fun happens.
This is where all the fun happens, creative ideas flow, and
Good to know.
and where we get to test the product.
Which is going to be the funnest job, right? Second of
Does
all,
have its
being a
perks.
chartered accountant.
Does have its perks, yeah.
So tell us about being a chartered accountant. Let's start in the beginning. What inspired you into this profession? Why did you want to become a chartered accountant?
I think we all go through school thinking, okay, what am I going to do? And then you start working on your strength. My strength was always numbers, and I loved accounting, was always good at it, and I hated subjects like science and those type of things. So you start going into what you're good at, and my parents always drove me to, you can come become the best you can be. So they always had a big influence on my life, and from the time I can remember, I always had in mind that I wanted to be great at whatever I do. And to be a chartered accountant is sort of like, it's for me the top level of accounting. And that's how I started pursuing the career of chartered accounting.
Okay, wonderful. So it was a foundation of being told you can achieve anything and then working on your strengths.
Yes.
Was there anyone in particular that inspired you into this profession? Somebody that you looked at and thought, I'm going to be like that one day?
Where I grew up, chartered accountant was not a known career. I mean, I grew up in Narreville, went to school at the Danish secondary school. I mean, there wasn't really somebody before me that said, listen, I became a chartered accountant, and this is a career you can follow, or it's an opportunity. However, if I look at a family of entrepreneurs that I have, finance was always the basis of being successful. And my mother always inspired me and said, listen, once you have finance behind you, I mean, everything else flows from there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've seen it now in my own career as well. I mean, it's not just about the numbers. I do less and less number work, but more focus on developing strategies and looking at operational side of the business.
Okay. And would you say that becoming a chartered accountant was the foundation that you needed to be able to achieve what you're achieving in your career right now?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the base. That I always say, you go to varsity to change your thinking, how you think. I mean, if I studied finance, it actually I started becoming more risk adverse. I started applying logic to most of the things in my life. Yeah, there's rules that you apply in certain aspects, but most of the things that it changed how you think, how you look at different opportunities in life. Yeah, if you look at the engineers, they've got a structured approach in how they look at things, but it's always there. You're never going to learn how to handle a specific problem, but you've got the tools how to address specific problems in life.
Fantastic, which is so valuable for life.
And that's the important part. If I look at becoming a chartered accountant, that you get the tools to be successful in anything actually. That's your basis. So you're not going to sit there and become a technical accountant. You've got all these other opportunities that you can go into after you've got the experience.
Yeah, there's so many different avenues that you can pursue once you've got this as your foundation.
Exactly.
And it's definitely what we've been seeing in having these chats with all the various chartered accountants in Namibia, is that there's so many opportunities and you don't have to be stuck in one space. You can choose what works for you.
Exactly. I mean, for me, I love the manufacturing environment. I mean, who doesn't love beer? So for me, I spend about 20%, less than 20% of my time on a daily basis applying technical knowledge. But I spend 80% of my time applying my tools, applying my logic, applying my thinking processes that I've learned throughout my career.
Okay, which about the studying process. What was it like to become a chartered accountant?
Yeah, to change your mindset, it's challenging.
I'm sure.
So yeah, it was a tough road, but it's very rewarding. I started when I was still doing my undergrad. It was a 3-year degree, and then you spent 1 year doing your postgrad. And then the worst thing about it all is after getting all these qualifications, you start with your articles, and that in itself is, I call it slave labor. But at the end of the day, it's the biggest growth opportunity for you in your life. I mean, where else in any career do you start off a first year coming in, know absolutely nothing about life, and 3 years later you a manager, you can actually manage people, you lead people, and you start developing their success as well. So, and that for me is, I always tell people, when you look at articles, that's 3 years that you need to be like a sponge. You just need to say yes, 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 I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. Take on as much as possible, because then that gives you the biggest growth opportunities.
Beautiful, and a foundation to excel in life.
And that's, actually that's not just articles, that's the story of everything. Yeah. I mean, my friend always used to tell me, listen, you follow until you can lead. Now, when you're in the following process and when you're in the growth process, take on as much as possible. Get the most experience you can, because it just forms you. At the end of the day, it gives you that's what growth is all about. Being in that uncomfortable situation where you don't know what the solution is, you don't know, but you start to reason it out and start to figure it out for yourself. And that's how you grow in life.
Exactly. At the end of that uncomfortable situation, you know more than when you started.
Exactly. I always tell people the first thing is, the first time it's going to be difficult. It's like having an interview. The first time you're nervous. The second time it starts getting less butterflies in your stomach. And then the third time you become almost a natural. But if you don't take that first step of putting you in that uncomfortable situation and making sure that you stretch yourself, you're never going to be successful at it. Exactly. And that's, everything in life works like that.
Exactly. And on that note, and such wonderful wisdom that you've just shared with us, what would be your advice and your wisdom regarding motivation? Because it's a long journey to become a chartered accountant. How do you stay motivated?
Always understand why you're doing it. What is the end game? What is the purpose in life for you? What do you want to achieve? And then, I mean, yeah, we all finished school and we said, listen, I just want to be successful, and we don't really know why we're going to do it, and but we don't understand the real reason behind why we're doing certain things. And as life progresses, you start becoming more mature. Your needs change. Your purpose in life also changes, because now it's not just about you. It's about what can you do to your community, to your fellow employees, to your family, and the leader you can be at the end of the day. So for me, it started off, listen, I said, I want to be great. I want to achieve fantastic career heights in my life. And I want to look back in my life and I said, listen, Graeme, you've been successful one day. And yeah, you never get there. You always look back and say, listen, there's still these opportunities. But it's also to look back and say, yeah, but look at what I've achieved. Look at what I can be grateful for at the end of the day. Yeah. Because we just focus on what we don't have. And we forget about the 99% of the things we've achieved or we do have in life. And for me, it's never been an end game. It's always been this journey that I've been on. And as you progress, you get new challenges. You identify new opportunities. You start to find yourself in life. And that's for me, that kept me motivated all this time.
It's really beautiful. And you've highlighted such an important point, and it's that in the journey, that's how we find ourselves, how we uncover who we are. And that is motivation, it's 100% true, but self-esteem is developed in the process. And it's in the process of learning and of trying and being willing to keep on forging forward. Would you advise others to pursue a career in the field of chartered accountant? Would you advise others to study to become a chartered accountant?
Definitely. I mean, it's one of those careers actually, if halfway through you find yourself and you realize it's not for you, you still have the knowledge. It's not like any other career that you'll have to have the degree at the end of the day to actually get the benefit thereof. I mean, finance is finance. Whether you're a first year, second year, third year student, if you don't know what you want to do, start with finance. You'll always, the basics foundation that comes from finance, you'll be able to apply in any career in your life. And listen, the sky's the limit. Once you've achieved passed that final board exam and you've started your career as a chartered accountant, the world's your oyster. You can do anything.
And that's something we've heard over and over again, is that the opportunities that await you as a chartered accountant, not only here, but in the rest of the world, you can take this degree and all this qualification anywhere.
Yeah, anyway.
That's really beautiful. Graeme, what would you say is the most important value of this profession?
I think it's linked to honesty and integrity. If you look at that, where you start off with, at the end of the day, the profession and the professionality behind it and the integrity linked to being a chartered accountant it's what makes it differentiate from others. I mean, you look at, if you start your career as an auditor, you basically give an assurance that what people will look at and the product you deliver is the right product, is actually what it's represented in the numbers. And through that, you start becoming, you apply that throughout your life, and you've got certain attributes or values that you learn through that you continue to apply. And I mean, it doesn't mean you're a chartered accountant and you just forget about what it stands for. You'll always be that person that people can look up to or should look up to, that's going to be doing the right thing.
What would you say, Graeme, was the most important piece of business advice that you ever received?
Always live your purpose. We're actually going through this whole journey of understanding your purpose and how it fits into the environment you're in and why you're doing specific things in life. And I'm still learning new things about myself on a daily basis. I'm still learning new things about my team on a daily basis. Because once you understand why you're doing something, people that links into that why or links into that purpose will follow you. They will buy into your concept. So it's not just what we do, but it's why we do it. Do I start a business to take people off the street, or do I start a business to become a millionaire? Yeah, both of them are just as valid, but your consumers will differentiate and say, okay, but I'm supporting this person because he's contributing to my life as well. He's fulfilling my life by taking people off the street. Or is he only looking after his own?
In terms of fulfillment, what is your personal fulfillment like, knowing that you've come from Nairobi to be the financial director at Namibia Breweries Ltd? I'm sure there's many people that look up to you, that you are a role model for. What does that feel like?
Yeah, it puts a lot of pressure on you. I mean, it's not just every behavior of you gets analyzed. In the working environment, they look at you, and it's the small things that leaves the impression at the person next to you, or that the person that you pass in the corridor. And you start to become so much more aware of yourself and how you behave, how you react in certain situations, and what difference you make in their lives. Because and that with that comes a lot of responsibility as well. Because if you're not living the message that you send out to the people, when they're gonna lose respect for you. And at the end of the day, you need to help that person to become the best he can be at the end of the day.
Exactly. And on that note, what else have been the highs of this profession? In terms of, this is a profession that has a lot of challenges because there's a lot of hard work associated with this profession, but what are the highs?
Selling the best product in Namibia. No, I think I've had a couple of highs in my life. With this profession, I managed to work in the US. I've managed to work in West Africa, getting experience at other breweries, traveling the world. Yeah, so there's always that opportunity, and working in other environments, meeting new people, getting to know new cultures. And that for me is, I always say, it's almost like the school of life. You keep on learning, you keep on getting exposed to new things. It just never ends. New business opportunities, whether it's in the working environment, whether it's in the group environment, yeah, it just keeps on, it never ends. It always, there's not a dull moment in your life where you wake up and say, what am I going to do today?
That's good to know. There's a perception that the profession has got its moments that are not as much fun. So it's wonderful to hear that there's not a dull moment. That's wonderful.
No, it's what you make of it. I mean, I can sit in the corner and just say, oh, listen, I'm just going to look and be a police dog, or make sure everything happens in time. I get my monthly results out in time, or I can make it as fun as I want to.
And that's good advice for life, because it works for anything in life.
And it works for anything in life.
And talking about advice, what would your advice be for somebody who's potentially starting to study to become a chartered accountant? What would you say to them?
At the end of the day, you'll reap the rewards. Never give up. Always stay positive. Always look at the opportunities. For every challenge, there's so much more opportunities out there. And make sure you always look at the positive side of life. It's, yeah, like I say, studies, it's not easy. But always go back to your basic principles, apply that, and make sure you understand the basics. And the rest will follow.
And we'll work out from there. And your advice for somebody who's in the middle of their career and maybe needing a bit of motivation?
My paycheck? Go on, the sky's the limit. So at the end of the day, your efforts will be rewarded. You're on this journey. You're on this journey of self-discovery. You're on this journey of making a difference, not only in your life but the people around you. And I can just say, just find the positive. Take a break if you need to, but then get the energy, get focused again, because at the end of the day you need to be focused. You need to be committed to what you do.
And you need to make it work for you.
You need to make it work for you.
Exactly. What would you say, Graeme, that you've learnt about life through this profession?
I think the most valuable part is always value people. Try to respect people, have the humility to always learn from other people. You never arrived. You're always on this journey to learn new things about yourself, about people, about the business. And be humble. Always open yourself up for new opportunities, new experiences. You might just enjoy it just as much as the other person do. But before you've tried that, don't just shut it off.
Exactly. Beautiful advice. Thank you so much for sharing with us your journey
Thank you.
and your wisdom. It's been really insightful.
No, thank you. It's a pleasure.